Sorry, Debbie, excuse me a moment.
It's all right.
Hello? Honestly, you would have...
In 2005, UK-based audio-visual artist Zoe Irvine was inspired to launch an audio broadcasting project involving 300 singers from every part of the world. The aim of the project was to get all 300 artists to broadcast their songs over telephone lines during a 24-hour concert in the summer. Irvine had not met any of the artists face-to-face and was successful in leading the global team from a small office in Scotland. Irvine guides us through the traumas and lessons she learnt by organising the concert, giving us a taste of an unusual and dynamic project that serves as a background case study to our essay on virtual teams.
Well, my name is Zoe Irvine, and I am an artist who has used sound as my primary medium for quite a number of years. What I did was contact performers in every time zone around the planet and invite them to make a small performance that would happen in a linear fashion, one after the other, in a 24-hour global sung concert. So New Zealand began, and then we worked our way through Australasia, Indonesia, the far reaches of Russia into China. We didn't have any Mongolian participants, unfortunately, but we did have Thai and Indonesian. And then through the very awkward half-hour time zones of India into Asia and Central Europe and Middle East. Then all the way, 24 hours later, to Alaska and Hawaii. And that was it, 24 hours. We had a sort of bank of phones and people could listen that way, and then at a certain time we had it broadcasting through the PA system. The way it was organised, all the participants sang down the phone. We actually called all the participants, and then we'd give them a count-in. And so sure enough, on the day of the event, at 8 a.m. UK time, it was 8 p.m. New Zealand time, perfect concert time, and we began. Welcome to Dial a Diva. You are calling during the hours of 11 and 12 a.m. Central European time. At this time, Dial a Diva is phone casting concert calls from Western Australia, Indonesia, China and Malaysia. If you would like to speak to an operator, press *0 at any time. We will now connect you with the live phone cast. The schedule was a total obsession, an enormously time-consuming and all-consuming effort and part of this project. First of all, just mapping it out and thinking, okay, so if this is 8 o'clock here, what is that with us, what is that with them, making sure that we got those time differences right. The half-hour time zones were particularly mind-bending. Making sure that people didn't change their concert times. So as it got closer to the date, we would continually be saying, so you'll still fine for 7 o'clock your time, aren't you? Or you're still fine for 11:30, aren't you? Or 10:25, or whenever the time was. And for the most part, that really did work out.
Debbie, excuse me a moment.
It's all right.
Sorry.
The telephone was, after all, the earliest device used to transmit voice messages across long distances. New technologies merely served to refine the old techniques. Irvine sees that getting back to the roots was fundamental to her project. The inspiration lay in her discovery of an old-fashioned and little-known telephone called the theatrephone.
The theatrephone was a sort of entrepreneurial venture that existed in the 1880s in Paris, and it used the phone network to connect a remote audience to a performance. And it functioned in two ways. If you were not quite rich enough to go to the opera, which has always been a pretty luxurious affair, but you wanted to go and have some kind of experience, you could go, and they had set up theatrophones, which they're a bit like a payphone, but they had 2 speakers and no microphone. And you would put in a coin and place these 2 speakers over your ears and listen literally through a wall to the performance that was going on live on the other side. So you didn't have a seat, you weren't exactly at it, but there you were, just remote by one wall, paying a few centimes or whatever it was then. And the other version of the theatроphone was considerably more luxurious, and this is what Marcel Proust had. And this was a subscription service. If you had a telephone, you could call an operator and what's on this evening? Well, sir, it is Debussy's Pelléas and Mélisande, live down the phone from your own home.
Have reached has been disconnected.
Over 100 years later, I was looking back at this and thought, this is exciting. I want to update it, pay homage to it, do something with telephone technology now. And what I came up with was the idea of a global telephone concert.
Irvine goes on to explain that the strength of the human voice was important in solidifying the virtual team she created for the concert. She says the team she formed came alive with the sound of voice when there was no means for physical contact.
When we actually spoke to people, the project came alive in a way that it doesn't matter how many emails we send backwards and forwards, it's still very abstract. We did do some video Skype calls with people in advance of the project, but to be honest, that didn't add very much. It was really just speaking to people. And it sort of brought humanity to our exchanges.
Oh, sorry, Debbie, excuse me a moment.
It's all right. I'll...
Hello? Honestly, you would believe... Oh, sorry, Debbie, excuse me a moment.
It's all right. I'll...
There was a lot of laughter in all these conversations, and possibly a bit of nervous laughter, and people going, what are you doing? This is mad what you're doing, but I love it, and I'm glad to be part of it, but you're crazy.
Sorry, Debbie, excuse me a moment.
It's all right.
Hello?
I'll catch you another time.
So what issues did Irvine have when trying to build trust in her virtual team? And what lessons can we learn from her experience? Our essay isolates different categories of trust in professional environments.